I always go and I always say to people, you know, no matter how good you are, you can make a mistake.
New at 11, taking a fall and living to tell about it. And it was no ordinary fall. A Jupiter paraglider plummeted 150 feet, and tonight, back home after being in the hospital more than a week. He talks about why he had no other choice but to jump. News Channel 5's Megan McRoberts live in Jupiter with his story. Megan.
Well, Damian Leroy tells me he still has a good month or more ahead of him to recover. Imagine falling 150 feet. That's about the height of this condo complex you see lit up behind me. An incredible survival story that he's calling a miracle. Damian Leroy back home from the hospital.
I got some battle wounds for sure.
With scars, broken bones, and bruises after falling nearly 150 feet while paragliding in Jupiter.
You jump.
I have a bunch of fractures in my back.
The world-renowned athlete and former Olympian recalls a perfect beach day.
It was a perfect day to fly a motor. And
doing what he's done countless times.
I've been flying a motor for a long, long time.
But he says last week he made a mistake.
And I knew I was in trouble when it first spun up.
Damian's lines became tangled. He couldn't reach them to get them untangled, but he says he stayed calm.
Like, there was never once I was like, I'm gonna die.
He climbed out of his harness, unclipped himself, and got ready to jump into the water. But he says the wind picked up and carried him over the beach.
As I'm going over the road, I'm like, man, look at this happy big bush, you know? I'm like, this thing's perfect. This thing's like a pillow. I would say it wasn't quite like a pillow.
Damian told me it's a miracle he wasn't paralyzed or killed.
There are angels and there are miracles.
That's why he is staying so positive despite the pain, gaining a new lease on life he's not taking for granted.
My whole life has been trying to motivate and inspire, and I think everything happens for a reason.
And Damian also tells me he didn't want to land on the beach because he says there were a lot of people around. He didn't want to let go of his equipment and risk hurting somebody. He says he is so thankful tonight for all the support he's been getting, calls and texts and visits in the hospital. He wants everyone to know that he will be back out there on the water as soon as he can be. Reporting live in Jupiter, I'm Megan McRoberts, WPTV News Channel 5.
Next, the wake up.